Okay, video on how about a character select going into a new scene. So I got a new scene here and I've created another scene. I have a game scene and a menu scene, okay? They're both blank. I'm going to go to build settings and I'm going to go find these scenes and I'm going to put them in. So we want this menu scene to be 0. Just like that. So the first thing we need is a canvas. And, okay, we need a canvas. We'll start with that. That's got to be scale of screen size. Doesn't have to be. I prefer it to be. And I thought I would bring in this lovely character who is got a pile of different skins. Lots of customizational options here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, I'm going to put him in the scene. He can sit at 0, 0, 0. And I need a camera. And we're going to line this camera up. Say roughly about there. We will adjust the lighting so we can at least see him a bit. Okay. Now we need a way to select various things on this guy, and then we need to transfer that data to a new scene. So I'm going to make a game manager, and on this FSM he's going to have an action called don't destroy on load. That's what we need. That's it. That's all it needs. Now when we go to another scene, he'll still be in this new scene. Okay, that's important. So let's make a way that we can adjust things, and we're going to feed data into this guy, right? Like for example, we have character setup, and our character, we're going to unprefab him. We're going to make a new folder called skin tutorial. Totally spelt wrong. Not that worried about it. And actually I'm not going to prefab him yet. I'm going to do work on him and then prefab him. It only makes sense. So we have a whole bunch of parts. I probably won't do every part, but we will do a lot. So we need a way to say adjust things. So let's start with we'll do a toggle. How about go to 2D, and we will stick this up. I don't know, say here. We're going to give this a label of we'll call it sex, male or female. Oh no, that's not very clear. We'll call it is male. Okay. I will give this also a background so we can see it a little better. Give it a panel. I'm going to move the panel. Well, I guess it has a background. Well, that's a background on that little guy. Oh no, wait. Let's see. Yeah, that's a background on this stupid little thing. I don't care about that stupid thing. And there's there's the check mark. So this panel, let's make him, I don't know, something like that, I suppose. And the label, I'm going to stick it in the middle. Alter its color so it's a little more clear. This guy will bring his alpha up and bring him down. So the background's top child. For clarity reasons, I'm going to scale the text down. There we go. So is male, and best fit, make that a little bigger. So then we have a toggle. And what I'm going to do is on this canvas itself, UI toggle. So we're going to select this toggle on value change. So it changed, and the value is toggle value. Okay. Oh, we need a way to check that. Toggle value, and if it's true, we'll go true. If it's false, we'll go false. And then it's going to do something and go back. If it's false, it's going to do something and then go back. And I'm just going to stick those just like that. So the other thing we're going to need is a reference to our character. So I am going to get, okay, well you can do, oh, let's get rid of that. We don't need their scripts. You can find them. I mean, if we're going to use one character, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, this is female, game object, this is male, game object, and the male is the male parts, and the female is the female parts. So this is default as on, so the female parts we're going to turn off just by deactivating. So if this is true, we wish to use two of these, and that is to activate male and deactivate female. Copy and paste and reverse those. Okay, so just to show you how that kind of works now. So there is the male and the female versions. Doesn't look like much yet. Okay, so there is that. Now we also need, so this is for the sex. Let's do, what about a slider? Let's bring a slider in. Okay, and we'll just leave that stuff there. Let's take a look at, now the one sneaky thing about this thing is you have different, like the heads with the elements and no elements. So, so right now we're just gonna turn off the all elements for now. We're gonna actually do these, okay? And we'll assume that these are found in game or something, and we'll deal with that after. So let's take a look at what we have. chaos happening here. So we need to turn the extras off. Those are the elf ears. That's all the hair. And those are helmets. Okay, we'll turn off the helmets for now. Alright. No, all elements is the faces, yeah, okay. So we have the hairs. So let's deactivate them all except one. Well, no, because it's hair, we can deactivate them all. And for the head, deactivate them all except one, so that we have a default head kicking around. Now we want facial hair. Will do the same thing, all but one. And this we'll do all. Well, no, for the beard we can do it all. Okay. So we'll start with that. So we have a slider, and this one can be, say, the head, and we'll give it a text. UI, give it a panel for a background, and we'll give it a text, and this is for the head. And the panel goes in the background, and the panel can also be roughly that same color, maximum alpha, go back to 2D, and this is, I meant to do that. Stick him like this, make him go like that, and because of the bar here, what we're actually going to do is we're going to expand this guy out, take the head and move him up, and we'll do the same thing we did before. We'll scale him down and then expand it out, do best fit, and now we have head. Then we'll do that same thing, and now we have one for the eyebrows, one for the beard, and one for hair. So the eyebrows, this can go to eyebrows. We have beard. Nope. There we go. We have hair. Okay. So we need to translate these things over to this guy. So for example, now we have the head. All elements of the head. We have 0 to 22, so we have 23 things. So knowing that, we need the head. Maximum value is 23. Use whole numbers. Minimum value can be 0. And this guy, we're literally just going to do the same thing. I'm going to move this guy up here so he's out of the way. So that is on that. We now need a UI slider. Value changed event. So this is going to be the head changed and head value, and we might as well go and copy this, paste it and paste it and paste it. So now we have head. We have eyebrows. And it's, well, I guess we can keep that value. I almost don't even need to use the head value. I can literally change that head value to slider value. Really doesn't need a name like head value. Right, so we have head changed, eyebrows, beard, and we have hair. There's hair. So we need these things, right? We need to bring in, this is the head change. So head, eyebrows, beard, and hair. So if those change, we have the head changed, we have eyebrows, we have the beard, we have hair. I think that was it. So first thing we need is an array. So for example, the easiest way to do this is here we have heads, right? So if I make a tag, call this head, and I now tag all of the heads with head. And we also need to do the same thing to the female side. Okay, so there we have all those. So we need a spot to get our references. We could just use a big ol' array. So we're going to get an array of modular characters because we need the male and the female parts. So we're going to store the next child as current child. We need a loop, and we need a done. And you don't actually have to do this. Like, you can literally just drag these into the arrays. I'm going to try to do it by code. So if we're done, loop. If we loop, we go over here. So finish. Oh no, we don't need a finish there. So compare tag. So if current child is tag actually, you know what, let's alter this just a bit. We have head, and let's give those another tag. Head F for female. There, now we can make two arrays. Head male, game object, head F, game object. So if it is head, if that's true, then it goes to male array. Copy and paste, and if the tag is head F, goes to female array. And if it's neither of those, then I'll do a false event on the bottom one, to go back. So the finishes, it goes here. If it's goes to male, goes to female. So if it goes to male, we want to array add the male current child and finish back to that. I'm just going to copy that and paste that. If it's female, then it goes to the female array. So that should just store all the heads. Let's double check. We should have two big ol' arrays. Male parts. No, why didn't that work? So he's just doing male parts. He's literally just getting those. Alright, well, you know what? Screw you, little thingamabobber. We are just going to do this then. We are going to do get female head all elements. So that should just literally give everything. And copy and paste. So if you're done, you can go here and you can go get the male. Technically I should change those out, but let's just test. Okay, so we should have two arrays. There's our female and the male, and nothing there, which, okay, that makes sense. So, okay, so this one's doing all the female heads. So we're going to get rid of that, and just loop like that. Because we already know it's that. So this guy will do the same thing, but he's just going to do that one. And then we go here. Now we should have all the objects go into the proper females and males. Okay, there we go. So we now have made all our references on those anyways. I mean, that's just those. There's still all sorts of other stuff. So if the head changed, that's what we're doing, right? Yeah, we're doing heads. The head changed. We have a slider value. So we need to array do I not have it? Go figure. Array activate game objects. You can also do this with array list. It's probably almost better with array list, but I don't have array list on here right now, so I'm not doing it with array list. Okay, so when this guy's done, it's got to come over here. Keep that in mind. You don't want to just sit over here. So the head has changed. We now want to array activate objects. We want to go and activate or deactivate all of the female heads, all of the male heads, and we're going to finish with a next frame. This is important. So that's a finish. And then we are going to come over here and array get. We need that twice. From the females, we need to get slider value. part. Oh, go away, stupid thing. And from that at index slider value, we need to get, we'll store that as male part. Boop, boop. And activate, but not the array activate, just normal activate. Male. Copy, only that's male part, not the male. And female part. Now make sure these are at the bottom. To which then it can finish and just go back here. And just so that these ones don't, oops, what did I just do there? And just so that these ones get rid of that error, let's just do that. Okay. So now we have here, and as you see, we have the different heads, just going by the value. Swap it over. Oh, and of course I got all the female, that portion of the female still on. So let's just deactivate him. So there's the female heads, right? We have our slider working. Go to the male. It's all good. That part's all working. I don't know if I should even bother really adding those in. It's the same procedure, right? I think we might be better off going from, so once this goes, right, you keep building those up, and you can do the arms and the legs, and you just keep going, you keep adding on to this system, right? Like we're gonna get all the children stored into an array. In the end, you need to swap over and change scenes. So if you had a button, and we're just going to stick this button bloop, down here, and we're going to tell him he is game start. So if he gets hit, let's add an FSM called game start and button so if this button gets hit, we are going to want to load a level, right? We're going to load a scene. I'm not going to do it with the async. And we know we want to go to scene 1 because that's the game, right? And just to test that little portion out, if I hit play, and I hit game start, where we go, we are in the game scene. Oh yeah. So obviously we need to transfer this guy over there. So what I'm going to do actually is when this guy has, well, no, let's just do it this way. So character setup, we have, no, what's the wrong one? Where did I just put that start event? Did I stick it on here? Oh, okay, yes I did. So instead of this load scene instantly, we're going to store the data and then go. But we're going to store the data in this guy, right? So we need, for example, we need a bool for is male, and we need a integer for, say, the head. And of course you would do the rest of them as well. when this guy up here gets clicked, we need to get FSM bool from the FSM that we didn't name. Toggle value is male. Set FSM bool, and we're going to tell this guy, the game manager, under character setup is male. 2 is male. It's going to copy that. Next, we are going to get FSM int. No, wait, we can get slider. Get slider value, not FSM int. So we need to get the slider value there. Set FSM int. I'll make sure it's underneath. And again, to the game manager, character setup, the head is head value. And then, just for good measure, make sure we store our data before we transfer. Let's go finish and come over here. Now on success event, we're going to get an event called create player. Alright, so now, as you see, we're in here, and you can change this around, and I hit game start. Now if I pause, open up the do not destroy, we still have this guy here, right? He has the head value of 10 is male is true, right? Which, sure enough, if you were to look at that character, that's exactly where the values were. So he has an event oh yeah, that was on the canvas. Okay, so this guy, so he is going to load scene. We don't need that. And in this guy, character setup, get scene properties. Every frame we want build index. Okay. Int, well, you can do a switch or you can do a compare, don't matter. Int compare, move that to the bottom. Current scene, if scene is 1, create character. Make sure that's every frame. It comes over here. So let's just open this other scene, game scene, save this one. Let's say create a terrain, come out of 2D, and we'll create a spot, say right there, 0, 0, 0, sure. Call this the spawn point. Then we could now, let's tag that actually, spawn point. Now in this guy, this prefab, how do we want to create our prefab? So this prefab is literally going to be the exact same thing as the other guy, just a slightly different. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Remove. And let's start with the female deactivated, because that's what we did with the other one. Head, no elements. For now, we'll deactivate that. Head coverings and hair and head attachments for now we'll deactivate. And the female head, no elements, deactivate those. All gender, take away those. Okay. Male. Well, for now we'll take away that so we can see the head a little clearer. So we have this character, and he needs, on start, he needs an FSM. And he also needs variables. So for example, he needs a bool. Oh my god, what am I doing? There we go. Is male. And he needs an int for head. Okay, and we're going to tag him as player. So, first thing he's going to do is bool test. Well, I shouldn't say the first thing he's going to do. It's going to be the second thing he's going to do. So, is male. So, if true, true. And if false, false. True and false. Okay, so if true, game object, where's activate? We activate solo. I don't want to activate solo. Activate the male, and I'm going to copy and paste, and female deactivate, copy and paste, swap them. So this guy, I'm just going to put a small well, we'll make this guy get the data. But first, let's set this up. The other thing is we need more or less that same array, right? Because we have female head, all elements, right? So these guys all need that same tag, head, and these need the same tag, head female. So we want to child get next, and the object we're looking at is the female, and we're going to store that as current, and we need two arrays, head F, type game object, head M, type game object. So we need a loop and a done. These can use finishes. And come down here. Actually, we don't even need to worry about the female end of that thing. Like, you can kind of split these up, I suppose, unless you want to change things during game as well. So if we loop, and we have a done. On the loop, we need to array add. So, okay, first we'll do the female, add current. Finish. Yeah, okay, so if we do this, right, so is male. If it's false and we're female, we go here, and this does the female end of things. We'll copy that. This one can do male parts, all elements, and feed into the male. Then when it's done, we can array get that at the head value, store as current head, activate current head. Put that above there, that down there, and let's copy that and paste. This goes to the head female. There we go. So we need a way okay, so what we need is we're going to take another tag somewhere. Add tag to game master. So this guy, when he gets created, he's going to do a next frame. Get find game object. Game managers, I think was what we named it. So we get that. Now we need to get FSM bool and get FSM int. And this one is of that guy. I totally forget the name of that guy, but whatever it is, he's storing as is male. He's storing as head. Let's finish it off in the other scene. And okay, so let's prefab this guy. Delete him. Go to our menu scene. Save. So character setup is once we're in this scene, we need to find a game object, a spawn point, tag spawn point, store as spawn point. We need to create our player, and our player is this guy. And the spawn point is going to be at spawn point. Now we could set values right there. I wonder if that would be easier than him having to get the values, right? Because we have head and male. That might just be easier. Let's just do that in this guy here. So this now. He is created. We can set FSM bool. I'm going to cheat by dragging him over. Is male. We're going to set is male, but that's actually our player. Set FSM int. Again, just to get the references. Okay. Now, while we want this guy to function, let's just open him up. So he isn't going to need to get this stuff. That's not going to be needed. So let's give him an event though saying start. And let's put it here. Now we can go to this guy, and now that we have the player, he's created him, and we set those bools up. Let's, again, I want to make sure that everything is set before we tell this player to do stuff. Send event to specific game object, which is going to be a copy of game object FSM, sorry, to start, but that's actually our player. Oh, I can almost do a delay on it too. Okay, so let's save. So we can flop this around now. Give it whatever face. We can hit start. Of course, the camera isn't over there. And scene index. Why isn't he getting that? Why did you? Unless we have the wrong scene in there. Game scene is 1. Build index. This should be current scene. If it's 1, create the character. Alright, let's just see if we can get scene is loaded. Let's see if we'll check that one. Is loaded. Active scene. Scene at index. That'll probably work. And then the properties. Let's move this guy up to the top. Scene reference. Scene at index. Scene 1. And he is not going to be in every frame thing. So is not loaded. And if it is loaded, I'm going to create the character. We don't even need this part. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I still need the event though. If it's not loaded, let's just go to a next frame. There we go. Alright, so now I should have saved it. So again, I hit start, and let's go check him, make sure he has his scene loaded. Why is he just sitting in one thing? That's weird. Okay, so you know what? Add add a wait onto that. And it's going to be half a second, and it's going to finish. Or no, it's going to do. It's not loaded. And save and go. Let's just make sure that's gone. Okay, character 1 state, get scene loaded builder is out of range at index 1. Okay, well, no it's not. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. Alright. You know what? We will get... Okay, this is on our game manager. Yeah, so... Scene... Normally this one works just fine. Oh, well, okay, let's try this guy. No. See, I'd rather get the properties. The get the properties works. It's just not working right now. Swear to God. Build index is the current scene. If that's every frame. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff. Scene found. That's a bool. Right, because right now we're on scene 0. We're on scene 1. And if I restart him, now he recognizes it's scene 1. Alright, well, fine. We'll go back to our int compare method then. Every frame, current scene, 2, 1. And if it's equal, create the character. And if it's not equal, then we're going to do R is not loaded. To which he is just going to tell it to keep checking rapidly. Alright, so here is that. We've started. There's our player. And he has. Right, so he's sitting there. He is in the game. Okay, so that part is now working. Send event FSM start. And of course he did not get that. Why did he not get that? It is the module characters. Oh wait, no, he's sending it to him. Doesn't say that clone there. Well, isn't that interesting? Create player. No, it's got to be him. Alright, this is what we're going to do. We didn't bother storing it. Well, isn't that just dumb of us? Alright. Created player. There's our created player. Been created, he's been stored. This guy is going to go to the created player now. To the created player. Okay. You dumb thing. Alright, so we hit start. And we've gone over here. And we're going to go to our player. And there is the female. With all the proper things, right? That went through. So like I said, I mean, it would take me, it would be a pretty long series if I did the whole thing. But it's the exact same system, just kind of over and over and over again, right? So you have this character. Fuck out of 2D. Get this character. You know, you go through all these parts, and you have these things. You can make as many of these as you want. They're all feeding. Well, they're all getting data here, right? So this guy is going to collect all our data, which you don't have to do. I mean, you could just make an array and drag everything into the array. This is just to me, it's an easy way. And now that it's set up, you can just literally just drag it, copy it, drag it, copy it. And anytime any one of these changes, it takes that value. We're going to deactivate everything first on both male and female, and do a next frame, very important. Then we're going to get the value of the array from the slider. We'll activate that on both male and female, and then come back. So well, I'll show you, make sure you clearly understand. Is if I put these, like that. Okay, won't bother doing hair. Right, so if I hit play now, right, so we're just reusing this one thing, right? So every time I toggle it, he's going to go do stuff. If I switch this, he does stuff. If I switch it, he's going to go do this one. He does this one. I won't do hair because it doesn't come back, right? But that's kind of how that whole thing works. And then when you hit start, we're going to make sure to gather all that data, stuff it into this guy who is persistent in both scenes. He does the creation and sets all those values on this guy. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea on how we would do a bit of a character setup window using skin meshes and character creation. See you in the next video.